Hello, everybody. Take one. I'm not really sure what. I don't have anything scripted out. Just kind of go off the cuff and see what happens. Hope everybody's having a good evening. Today is the anniversary for the D-Day Normandy invasion, and it's a pretty awesome deal. The legacy that was handed to us, and that's kind of what brought me here. There's some YouTube subscribers that, not YouTube necessarily, but alt media, infotainment type, independent journalists, whatever, have spoken out recently, and kind of inspired me to consider doing this. And not me specifically, I mean just like all of us as a collective. And I get it. They're under assault. Have been for a while. The demonetization, the deplatforming, all that stuff. They don't want people with the counter narrative to what the corporate media is able to put out. And in some small way, we can all impact those around us and those we love. And these different, specifically like Praying Medic, Dave, and Brendan Dilley were the two that have recently kind of driven it home that, get involved and step up to the plate. My grandfather was one that was in that invasion, and many others have served and are still serving in a lot more dire situations and putting a lot more on the line than going on here and making an ass out of themselves and talking on YouTube or Facebook or whatever. So what do I have to lose? Everything that I hold dear, which is the values that were instilled in me that made this country great, that have been passed down through a legacy of hard fought blood. And chief among those are the freedom to speak freely. And before I get too deep in the weeds and everything, I just want to say, hey, look, man, everybody's entitled to their opinion. I'm going to express mine. I'm not going to engage in any pedantic bullcrap in the comments. If I get a fact wrong, I don't have anything that I'm citing. I'm going off the top of my head. It's all off the cuff stuff. So if you find some little detail point that isn't accurate, get over yourself. If you disagree with me, and that's within your right as an American. That's what this whole thing is about. It's about being proud and standing up and speaking the truth as you see it. I don't have a right to impose my beliefs on anyone, and neither do you, and neither does Mark Zuckerberg or whoever's, I don't even know, can't remember the guy at Twitter or the lady at YouTube or any of that crap. I don't have those details in front of me. So, like I said, get over yourself. But I know what's in my heart, and I know what I believe the truth to be through countless hours of seeking for it, searching for it. And I've been on both sides of the argument. I was an idealistic young atheist at one point in my life that, saw things very differently than I see them today. And I'm not trying to persuade anyone that doesn't agree with me. If you don't, man, that is cool. Go on about your business. Don't tread on me. That's what the whole thing is about. So what I'm seeing is a monolithic media corporation megastructure that has funneled everyone into this virtual, I don't know what you would call it. I don't like the term echo chamber, but alternative sources, because everything that's being provided by the mainstream is completely inaccurate, biased, not objective, and people, I mean, I see it daily, and I can't stomach it, so I turn it off, and I've sought out other platforms and other sources of people that have been either inspirational or thought-provoking or informative, to help illustrate what's going on in the world around me, and yeah, I mean, the majority of what I seek out reinforces my pre-existing worldview, and there's nothing wrong with that. They have 90+% of the rest of everything else on lockdown. And this is coming from a guy that didn't vote for Donald Trump in either the primary or the general election. In fact, one of the only other videos I've ever posted was me appealing to people to stop and rethink a vote for Trump. And I'm couldn't be happier to say, man, I was wrong on that. From a principled, ideologically pro-American conservative point of view, I just didn't think that he was there. I thought it was all smoke and mirrors, and that he was not really committed to it and didn't really believe in it. And his actions have proved otherwise, like far and above. So I couldn't be more happy to campaign and vote for him in 2020, based on the record of what he's done. And I know a lot of people that know me aren't going to like hearing that, and that's fine. You don't have to. This isn't for you. It's I'm not looking for debate. I'm not looking for argument. I'm not looking for contention, bitterness, any of that stuff. But I am demanding the ability to seek out those that I find insightful, and be able to access those people. We're in the equivalent of a modern day book burning, and people are just sitting back and being very lackadaisical about it. I mean, you're talking about like hardcore committed civil libertarian type people, allegedly, is what I always kind of like admired about the left, is they had that contingent among them that was principled in that, it's like, I may not agree with what you're saying, but I'll fight for the death for you to say it, and all that stuff. And I respected that. I didn't always agree with it, because oftentimes what they were promoting was just promoting vileness. It's like, well, we can't infringe on this decadent crap because of the First Amendment, and people have a right to express it. And I mean, this isn't exactly a First Amendment issue, because it's not the government, that's shutting down speech. It's private companies. But at some point, these trillion-dollar, multi-trillion-dollar corporations that billions of people are literally on, and that are going to, in the spirit of the First Amendment, it's not free speech. When you're actively targeting a segment of people that aren't doing anything except expressing opinions and bringing forth facts that you disagree with. So it's not a fair fight. So what do we need? We need in keeping with like the D-Day theme and war and all that stuff, what do you do when you have an enemy that's better equipped and larger, and you create a counterinsurgency, and it's effective. And so rather than having to fight in the streets and shed blood, like so many have, to defend freedom, I think we're being called to create a counterinsurgency of guerrilla cyber warriors that come out and openly speak their mind, and transmit what we're getting wherever we're getting it, or just what we're feeling, or what we believe, or what we think. And it doesn't matter if you're a pastor, or a veteran, or a grandmother. You can all take part in it in your own way, because the reality is that's the whole point. Is to get this decentralized awakening to spread. And if it can't be done through large accounts that have a lot of organic following, then we'll do it from a lot of small accounts with organic following. So I guess that's kind of the point of what I'm trying to pull off here, is to just get on here and ramble my dumb face about my dumb beliefs about the country that I love, and the God that I love, and the values that I think are important, and how that matters for the future, and not just for the United States of America, but for the world, because where we go, all will follow. I've had a couple of ventures, Q-related stuff. I did an interview, and that's fine. And I'll talk about stuff like that when it's relevant. I'm going to try to be as transparent as I possibly can. And who knows where it's going to go. It's freewheeling. So I don't even know if I'm going to have a general topic when I kick these things off every day. It's all brand new. This is literally off, flying by the seat of my pants right here, right now. And, I'm going through a lot of transitional type issues in my life currently, and some of that might be part of it, but I'm going to try to consistently upload stuff. And, if you like it and you appreciate it, obviously feel free to share it. That's what this whole thing is about. Not that I need shares, but if you think that there's a message in there that resonates with you somehow, and that it might with someone else, feel free to share that, and do that with any platform, or any content that's relevant, that you find important. That's important. That's that guerrilla insurgent type mindset, that decentralized tactic, if you will, of getting information out there. Because I can't count on CNN to provide accurate or unbiased or objective information. And if you're doing that, God bless you. I don't know how you can honestly do it. Just because someone went to journalism school, or they have a script that's written for them to read, and they look good and sound good when they're doing it, doesn't mean that it's authentic, accurate, or real. And I gravitate a lot to these YouTube sites where people just get on there and talk about just random stuff, dude. And the people that are just like authentic, genuine, and are telling you, and it doesn't have to be political, the stuff that like interests me that I watch on YouTube. I watch like dudes that have been to prison and talking about their prison stories and getting out and readjusting, and veterans and the stuff they've dealt with. I really dig that kind of stuff coming from just average, normal people. And that's pretty much taken the place of all other forms of entertainment for me. I don't really watch television, maybe some baseball or something like that, but even that's become politicized, the NFL and Colin Kaepernick and all that crap. So just be forewarned. Here's the disclaimer, man. If you get butthurt, don't watch. If you don't like what I'm saying, chances are I'm not going to like what you have to say. Doesn't mean I can't like you as a person just because I don't agree with you. If you do decide to comment, please be respectful to other people in the comments, whether you agree with them or not. If I see any disrespectful stuff, I will delete it and block you, because that's unacceptable. I'm not going to engage in any kind of debates in the comments. It's just not worth it. And it's a no-win situation. I've tried that. I spent a lot of time early when I first came to social media, which was basically to, be political. It's cool seeing a bunch of old friends and looking at getting pictures and all that stuff, but I didn't get into Facebook at all until the Obama administration, and when it first came out, and saw that I have an obligation to speak my mind, and I still have that obligation, and it's a lot easier when you're being contrarian and you're against something. It's a little tougher when you're for it to be as motivated. I found it very easy to wake up every day and find out something about the Obama administration that I didn't like. And there were, and in truth, I mean, I was very hopeful going into it. It didn't start out with me being anti that administration, but it turned into that relatively quickly. And it's kind of the opposite of what's happening in the Trump administration. So I guess over time I'll be covering a lot of those topics and putting them on here. And if you like it, cool. If you don't, cool. Don't be disrespectful in my comments. Don't expect me to engage with you. If you're an OCD person that's like hooked on details and every botanic little like cited reference and all that crap, you're gonna go freaking crazy, because I don't have any of that shit with me. This is anything that I will be speaking will be general. It will be to illustrate, not so much as to give you, here are the facts. It's going to be things off the top of my head that I recall hearing, reading, seeing, talking about, that are relevant to whatever I'm talking about, and those facts may not be entirely accurate. I don't have the census data or the financial data in front of me. I'm not a newscaster, don't intend to be, but it's meant to illustrate a point. And if that's too much for you to handle, and it's going to make your freaking ears fucking smoke because it's just too overwhelming that someone got some minor fact wrong, then please just do yourself a favor and don't watch it. That's cool. You don't have to. Another thing is I'm gonna cuss. I can't hardly censor myself to that degree. I'm gonna try to keep it reasonably clean, but there will be filthy words from time to time, not just shoot and shucks and all that crap. I'm gonna try to be respectful, but I'm just not there yet. Especially if it's something that I find is very disturbing or passionate or whatever. I might go down some crazy rabbit trails that you're completely unfamiliar with, and I may sound like a crazy person to you. Believe me, I understand that, because that's how I felt when I first started becoming aware of some of this crap that's going on in the world today. That the people that were saying it were crazy. And the more I looked into it, the more I found out that, no, we're in an upside down world, and everything that we've been told is bullshit. And I'm going to speak freely on it. So the good news is they can't demonetize me, because there is no monetization. The money isn't a factor. The only motivation is that hopefully, at the very least, I'll inspire some people to think independently and for themselves, and give them something to chew on, and at the very best, maybe help inspire or motivate in some small way people to go forth and to replicate the same type of thing in their own sphere, and carry on that guerrilla warfare mindset, because that's what this is. You know, we're not storming the beaches at Normandy. We're actually more like the Viet Cong or Taliban, you know? And it's kind of jacked up to say that. But the truth is, I would fight and die in a bloody heap for this country and the values which it was founded for. It's that important. So the very least I can do at this time in history is to come on here and spend 20 minutes a day or whatever running my fucking yap, if it can help serve some greater good, and show other people it's okay to fucking believe what you want to believe. And anyone that doesn't like that, cool, man. You know, go to your rave or whatever you do. I don't know. You know, I'm unashamedly conservative. So if you got a problem with that, I'm sorry. We can still be friends. I don't hate you. I may hate some of the principles that you associate yourself with or whatever, but I don't hate you until you make me. So hopefully I don't do that, and we can all have a dialogue in our own way. And those of you that disagree, hey man, go do you. You know what I mean? Speak your truth. That's why I'm here, is because that's under threat. You know, it started Alex Jones, and people were like, "Oh, he's a freaking crazy guy," blah blah blah, and now it's just it's the inevitable Overton window and slippery slope that happens with virtually everything that these type of people get involved with. It's never enough. That's why we can't have sensible gun control. You know, that's why we can't get immigration reform. All of this shit. It's never enough. It's got to be complete, total, upside down. And we'll talk more about that later as the days go forward. Anyway, thanks for listening if you did, and have a great day, great evening, and I'll be popping up hopefully here on out for a while, and just see what it does. You know, I'll be on record, so they say, and F them if they can't take a joke. That's my philosophy. Anyway, peace out. God bless you. God bless the United States of America.